Hey guys, what's up? This is Brian with Games Under Pressure. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Dead or Alive 5 Last Round. This game was just released on the Xbox One and on the PlayStation 4. This is a sort of a re-release of the core Dead or Alive 5, which came out on the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 in 2012. So this is an updated version of an older game. What's really interesting about this, and not a whole heck of a lot of people are talking about it, but there is a crazy amount of DLC for this game. They took the Killer Instinct approach that Microsoft did, where they sell you, or actually give you for free, a core game. You can also buy another core experience of that game with more characters, things like that. But then, if you don't want to buy either of those, you have, say, a favorite character that you want to play as, or a favorite costume, whatever it is, you can buy those characters, those costumes, a la carte. So before I get into this, I want to show you just the breadth of content that is available here, because I think you will find it pretty crazy. You can see here are some of the characters. The characters go for $3.99. Some of the costumes go for cheaper, and you can see there are a lot of characters rounding out this cast. So you can really go through, pick the character that you want. Costumes are $1.99. There are some for $2.99, but I'm going to scroll up here. Just take a look at this. It is an insane amount of content for this game. So if you were really into Dead or Alive 5 on the Xbox 360 or the PlayStation 3, you can go absolutely crazy on here. Just, isn't that crazy? That's nuts. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just, I've never seen that amount of downloadable content, I don't ever think. You can get all of this content in one go for, I believe, a little bit over $90. So if you want to go that route, great. If you want absolutely everything in here, yeah, it'll cost you $92.99. Ultimate content set. And this, let's just verify that this includes everything. Yeah, for a total of 237 items. So I guess it's a value if you were thinking about buying everything, you know, in a single fashion. But let's get into this. The last game in the Dead or Alive series that I played was Dead or Alive 4 back on the Xbox 360, just because I wanted to see the Spartan in action. I believe it was like Spartan Nicole was her name. 458 maybe was her number. But I thought that was such a cool addition to the game. Really cool fighter that you could unlock. Overall, I'm not the biggest Dead or Alive fan. I'm not that great at the game. I played this for a few minutes, and it's interesting. It's interesting. So I'll show you some things here. The loading times are a little bit much for such an old game. You could see it pause there for a second. You got to go Hayabusa. And these are the characters that are available here. I'll show you. So you got Hayabusa, of course. Kasumi, of course. Couldn't really have a Dead or Alive game without Kasumi. Ein, Hitomi, Hayate, and Iane. So they give you enough. We'll go Hayabusa versus Kasumi, because why not? There are some alternate costumes that they include here, nothing mind-blowing. They give you a very large selection of levels. I think it's almost every single level in the game, which is nice. It's a nice touch. Go to Zack Island, fight on the beach here. I think this is a pretty good demonstration of the game's graphical fidelity. This is an old game. It is a 2012 game that came out on last gen. So as you can see, it's really not a looker. It's visually, it's nothing to write home about. The character models are okay, a little undetailed, especially if you look at this game compared to some of the old games that perhaps came out on the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. And also found their way to next gen. Injustice: Gods Among Us is one of them, and you know, that game really looks good on next gen. This not so much. It's okay. You can see some of the textures are very low res. The actual geometry is super sharp, as you would expect, but yeah, you know, it's an old game. It's an old game. If you're going into this for graphics, I think you're probably going into it with unrealistic expectations. So just keep that in mind. Let's try Flow. This was always an interesting level.
I can't avoid this fight.
Prepare. Get ready, fight.
Again, there's a really good example of some of the low-res textures, but the sharp geometry there. You get some nice cloth effects here. You can see the scarf moving in the wind. It moves when I move. But aside from a simple up-resing, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot going on here. In my opinion, certainly not enough to justify a $92 price tag for all the content. I'm sure there are people out there that love Dead or Alive 5 more than I. So I'm sure there'll be some people that buy it. For me though, I don't know. It's tough to get excited about this just because it is an older game. I'm gonna try in a minute. I'm gonna try some of the multiplayer. I've heard that it's undergoing a few issues here and there, so I'll give it a try. We'll see. It says at the bottom, searching for opponents, so I don't know if this game is open and somebody could step in at any time. I can get my ass kicked here. I've never been good at Dead or Alive. I've always been more of a Street Fighter guy. Virtua Fighter as well. So I like some of these characters, but true story. I actually sprained my wrist one time playing Virtua Fighter 4, which is sort of embarrassing. I had to go to the hospital, and they said, "What were you doing?" And I said I was playing Virtua Fighter. And the doctor sort of looked at me and hung his head in sympathy and disgust. Can't blame him for that. Do a random stage, because that is pretty awful. But hey, what are you gonna do? So we'll try one more.
Get ready, fight. Enough.
This is always one of my favorite courses too, just because of the electrified ring. Things look sharp. I'm not really seeing a lot of aliasing on this, so the character models look like they've been, if not redone, at least revisited in some way to sharpen them up, make them a little cleaner looking. Try getting online, see if they offer online with this version. And you can witness me just getting my ass kicked. It doesn't look like this guy has won yet, if I'm reading that right. So maybe I do have a shot. Your opponent has canceled the fight. Great. Alright guys, so I gave this about a half hour. I had to reboot my console a few times because it would freeze at this screen. And I can't seem to find any opponents after I found that first one. So I'm just going to turn in. Overall, if you are a huge diehard fan of Dead or Alive 5 on the Xbox 360 or the PlayStation 3, sure, buy it. I'm not personally. I think just the sheer amount of DLC is a little bit ludicrous. But again, if you're a fan, I don't think you'll have a problem paying that. It's just not something that I would recommend for the average consumer, especially considering this game is like 3 years old at this point. So totally up to you, but you know, it's one of those things where this just feels like a double dip, and it feels even worse that there's so much DLC available for it. So proceed with caution, and if you like the game, check it out. So that will do it for this video. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you would. That'll allow me to keep bringing you videos like this. And as always, thanks for watching.